Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Whispers in the Dark with me, Coach Adessa. For those of you who don't know me, now you know that I am one of the most unprofessional professionals that you could meet. I am not speaking through scripted ways. I am here to show up for my people, serving all of my people to the best of my ability in a variety of ways, which includes this podcast and a huge part of my here and my now. And so, on that note, we're just going to move on to today's topic. Stop distracting yourself by enabling others. Do not enable the enabler within. It is, in fact, self sabotage. You do not actually have a need to be needed. That is what you've told yourself to justify the way in which you've enabled others in place of things that may have been more purposeful for yourself. Many of you believe that you're battling these pattern behaviors because you are an empath, sensitive, or struggling with the need to be needed. However, that need to be needed is hard to be seen as valid when you do not treat all in that nature. Too often, I've been witnessing, hearing, or even experiencing someone suddenly going into isolation mode in this reaction to their own personal challenges. It's like life threw the challenge out there, and instead of accept the challenge, it was like I am isolating. They can shut down and close the door to others. And don't get me wrong, because I have my own moments. I am a bipolar warrior. I am an introvert. I am far from a hypocrite. I can even have times with my husband where I'm saying I don't even want to be around anyone right now. He will be playing video games. I will be cleaning the house, dancing my tail end off, going anywhere but the horizon. Who knows? We are all human beings. But for those of you making the claims of need to be needed as the justification process, you can be informed of things that those being closed out are going through. And no matter what you hear and how high those needs could be, the support remains unavailable to them. And most often, it is even a part of what's ghosted, like no acknowledgement, not even responded to. The door remains closed. You stay isolated in silence, and then you're actively ghosting all around you. Well, almost all around you. The support and access tends to remain available to those with little to no authentic needs for anything more than being enabled. Those others still have direct contact and responses. It's like both go into enabling one another, escaping from reality through codependency and getting pleasure, attention, and instant satisfaction from it all. But not because of the need to be needed, and not because of being an empath that cannot say no to being someone's shoulder to lean on, and not because of anything else that has been identified as the reason behind those choices. It's for nothing more than the escape or excuse or both. To have the ability to close the door on those in high need while keeping it open to others says far more. It is your truth. There's no way to completely hide from that truth. And not just because I speak through evidence over opinion and because I'm a truth teller and truth speaker and because of my gifts and abilities that prevent the truth from not being heard. Outside of all of that, it's the evidence. It is the evidence. There is an awareness of the difference between those in need and those who are only looking to be enabled, where their needs aren't genuine. So it's okay. Entertain that. Nothing is needed or wanted from you. There is no search of helping others or being helped. There's a search of a vacation from reality. And while some do actually look to engage in enabling so that they can feel like they have a purpose, it's still primarily desired as an attempt to justify those resistance and avoidance for personal development. So, yes, while I can understand those other times, the follow through end, what helped you follow through? Avoidance. That is why, after it all, there's no significant questioning or like questioning of the decision making, and there's no self reflection happening. It's more of like a, it is what it is. It was what it was. I did this and I'm back. There is an evident awareness of having chosen a time of self-sabotage. And a lot of you are even at a position where you can call it that. You could say, yep, I know. I chose this. I escaped through self-sabotage. Took a complete vacation. However, like our whole conversations can spell it all out because the escape was what was looked for and achieved. And even those that are not receiving coaching from me or are not in a position to have that degree of ownership, you still don't really have uh it hidden when you're coming back into reality. It's like, yeah, I enjoyed that. I'm back. So there's this sense of relief. There is ownership of what was missed and needs caught up on, and there's this embracement of trying to do all of that and accepting that it's going to be stressful and whatever else, and like, my own fault. But it's still has relief. It's manageable. It's accepted. Those that has the natural consequence. Like, I'll take those consequences. And there is little to no regret or remorse from what I've seen and heard, as it was preferred. Like I said, it's what was being looked for. It was given into temptation. It was going under the influence. It was not wanting to live through the moment, which allowed for it to feel and be worth it for who and where you are today. But I really want you to please just please know this. Like, know that it is an avoidance of personal responsibilities through an attempt to place fault on those who were enabled by your attention and the actions that followed. Um, Meaning that they're at fault for what your delays were in living and learning. You were seeking a distraction. Uh, in your reality, you were seeking out a distraction for self-sabotage. You were enabling yourself to not engage in personal development and life's lessons. You claim to have not been able to give the attention needed to pursue change or further growth and development in your personal journey of life because you were tending to someone else's immediate needs. In return, you hindered yourself in your own personal journey and have not progressed forward in the way that you have desired or were meant to. And while in the moment it all feels like personal power, where you had control, you were getting strength and getting break for the stress, like I have authority over my life, I'm in control, I have control right now. It truly was the direct opposite. You were under the influence. You were not here. You were in a distorted perspective of life. And while you may not be able to see and hear that with whom where you are today, and I don't live to convince or persuade, and I'm okay being my weird spiritual being self and yada yada yada, life will keep responding with the evidence of how escapes from reality do not prevent life from being a persistent and even redundant teacher of important life lessons. Life will remain the number one teacher. Life will continue to respond. And while maybe next time is your form of ownership and comfort, because that there really is what makes it the comfort zone. Everyone's supported by saying, maybe next time. I know what I did. I know how I did it. Maybe next time. Maybe next time I'll do better. Maybe next time I won't. Maybe next time I'll get this right. Maybe this time, maybe next time. All of that is your form of ownership that one day, maybe next time. But one day you may have hindered yourself to the point of life having no choice but to change some of your opportunities because the time is limited or other contributing factors that must modify your path to maintain your purpose and still allow for valuable potential. So you really could be missing out on the maybe next time. It's time to let go of maybe next time and focus on what is most important. Wake up. Open your eyes and focus on what may be this time. The time is now. The power of now is always what is most important. Be present. Let life show you. And then just some advice for those that are on the ghosted end of times like this. You might have listened to this and be like, yep, that's my friend, that's my sister, that's my brother, that's my uncle, that's my mother, whatever was speaking to you, that's my coworker. It could have reminded you of times that you have felt or been ghosted. But you must also be mindful and avoid enabling the enabler. Focus on your self-reliance. Do not over-engage them. Allow for them to experience the entire hardship they themselves are meant to go through. If they do not come to you, accept it, move forward. Do not beg for it. Don't seek attention of your own. No matter their escapes, life will be prepared to respond. It is not in your hands to hold them accountable or prevent them from receiving a natural consequence or additional hardships or additional obstacles. That's their life. That's their journey. That's what they're meant to go through. You're not responsible to break their patterns. That's not your role, no matter how much you love and care. Your role is not to do for them. You're supposed to be there alongside of them in the shadows, in the corner, whatever have you, but you're not meant to be the dependent. Trust that it's not personal, and proper boundaries can prevent uncalled for conflict. It can prevent bridges from burning. Allow them to take all the time and the space that they need with no judgment. That is what can allow for us to remain accepting of one another, including differences in character and overall states of being, and to not sacrifice any of our values in response to the relationship, whether it be romantic, personal, or professional. Now, if the boundaries were to not be respected and these events show you that you feel like, you know what, they're not meant to be in my circle. I don't support this. I'm not okay with this. This isn't the way I wish to live. Then you too must wake up. Let go. Nothing is stopping you. Nothing's requiring that to be your circle. Nothing's requiring you to continue to go through that. And you yourself might be having some codependency experiences with that then. Accept the differences and free yourself. But if you love them and miss them when they aren't their best self, when you know them well enough, trust them, care for them, have always accepted them, including these differences, then let them be. Appreciate the distance, appreciate not being exposed to the opposing character, be patient, be hopeful on their behalf, and whatever else supports you on your own personal end. Be you, but be ready to welcome them home when they return to the present, to the now. Help continue to be a part of their evidence for how incredible life can be, how patient and understanding life can be, how considerate and compassionate life can be. Help life to restore their attitude of gratitude by you staying true to yourself, you being a representation and evidence of how life brought you together for a reason, with purpose and with intent. But that doesn't mean that they are required to be perfect. It doesn't mean that you are required to be perfect, but you can be patient and you can be persistent, just like wife, and you can have boundaries and you can have hope. And when they return, you can share joy together. But in the now, I wish you all well. Be well. Bye for now. Until next time. Thank you so much for listening.